On September 7th, 1191, during the Third Crusade, one of the most pivotal battles in the campaign took place, the Battle of Arsuf. This battle marked a crucial victory for the Crusaders, led by England's King Richard I, against a much larger force from the Ayyubid Sultanate, commanded by the legendary Saladin. The confrontation occurred after the Crusaders successfully captured the city of Acre, prompting Saladin to take action in an attempt to stop their advance as they journeyed from Acre to Jaffa, passing near Arsouf. After securing Acre in 1191, Richard I recognized the strategic importance of capturing Jaffa, a key port city, to pave the way for a potential assault on Jerusalem. In August of that year, Richard began a coastal march from Acre towards Jaffa. Saladin, determined to prevent the Crusaders from taking Jerusalem, prepared his forces to intercept Richard's army. Richard's planning for the march was thorough. The Crusaders had secured a portion of the Egyptian fleet at Acre, allowing them to safely march southward, with the sea providing protection on their right flank. After the disaster at the Battle of Hattin, where the Crusaders were severely weakened by dehydration and the scorching heat, Richard was careful to ensure his army had access to water and was prepared for the harsh conditions of the journey. Alongside his army, Richard had a fleet which not only carried supplies, but also served as a refuge for the wounded. To protect his forces from potential ambushes and raids, Richard kept his army in a compact formation. This formation was comprised of 12 cavalry regiments, each with 100 knights, while the infantry units, including spearmen and crossbowmen, guarded the landward side. Crossbowmen formed the outer ranks of the infantry to provide additional defense, while the baggage train moved alongside the infantry, regularly rotating units to maintain their effectiveness against constant harassment from Saladin's troops. By early September, Saladin recognized that simple skirmishes would not be enough to stop Richard's progress. He needed to commit his entire army to a decisive confrontation. The Crusaders were making their way through the Wood of Arsuf, a rare forested area in Palestine, which gave Saladin an opportunity to launch a surprise attack. The dense woods would provide cover for his forces, allowing them to strike unexpectedly. Richard carefully positioned his troops for the march, ensuring that the military orders, particularly the Knights Templar and the Hospitallers, were placed at the most vulnerable points in the column. The Knights Templar, led by Robert de Sablé, took the vanguard, followed by groups of Richard's own subjects, including Angevins, Bretons, and Poitevins, as well as Guy of Lusignan, the titular king of Jerusalem. The rear of the column was guarded by the Knights Hospitaller under Garnier de Nablus. Saladin's forces were arranged into 3 sections, the left, right, and center, with Saladin himself commanding the center, surrounded by his personal guard. The Ayyubid strategy involved relentless hit-and-run tactics designed to wear down the Crusader formation. At first, Bedouin and Nubian infantry unleashed a barrage of arrows and javelins at the Crusaders, followed by mounted archers who would strike and retreat quickly. These early skirmishes were meant to weaken the Crusader formation, but Richard's troops held firm. The Crusaders, especially the crossbowmen, returned fire whenever they could, but their primary goal was to maintain their formation despite the constant harassment. When these initial attacks did not achieve the desired result, Saladin shifted his focus to the Crusader rearguard, especially targeting the Hospitallers, who came under intense pressure. Despite these concentrated efforts, Saladin was unable to break the Crusader lines or stop their march towards Arsouf. Richard, determined to keep his army intact, absorbed the repeated Ayyubid charges, waiting for the right moment to launch a counterattack. The situation became increasingly dire, particularly the Hospitaller crossbowmen at the rear, who were forced to retreat while continuing to fire. This caused a breach in the Crusader formation, which Saladin's forces quickly exploited, infiltrating the ranks of the Crusaders. At this critical juncture, Garnier de Nablus, the leader of the Hospitallers, requested Richard's permission to counterattack. Although Richard initially hesitated, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, the Hospitaller Marshal, Baldwin Le Caron, and other knights launched a charge, defying orders and shouting, "St. George!" This premature attack could have jeopardized the entire Crusader strategy, but Richard, recognizing the importance of supporting the Hospitaller charge, ordered a general assault. The Crusaders, now fully engaged, pushed back against the Ayyubid forces, catching them off guard. Richard's knights, backed by infantry, broke through the Ayyubid lines, delivering a decisive blow. The Ayyubid forces, unprepared for the Crusader counteroffensive, were thrown into disarray. Saladin's right wing, already engaged with the Crusader rearguard, struggled to defend against the full force of the Crusader charge, suffering heavy casualties. Baldwin Le Caron and the Hospitaller Marshal's timely intervention turned the tide of battle, leading to a complete rout of Saladin's forces. Muslim chronicler Baha al-Din described the aftermath as catastrophic, noting that Saladin's center and left wings had collapsed, with only a small remnant of his guard remaining. Despite the heavy losses, Richard wisely paused the pursuit, allowing his forces to regroup in case the Ayyubid cavalry attempted a counterattack. A final Crusader charge pushed the remaining Ayyubid forces into the surrounding woods and hills, effectively ending their willingness to continue fighting. Richard led his army back to Arsouf, where they gathered supplies and collected valuable goods from the fallen Ayyubid soldiers. The Battle of Arsuf was a decisive victory for the Crusaders. Saladin's forces suffered immense losses, including 32 emirs and around 7,000 soldiers, while Richard's casualties were relatively minor, with reports estimating no more than 700 dead. Though the battle did not lead to the immediate retaking of Jerusalem, it crippled Saladin's momentum, boosted Crusader morale, and reshaped the strategic landscape of the Holy Land. In the aftermath, the Crusaders fortified key positions, and the Treaty of Jaffa was established, allowing Christian pilgrims access to Jerusalem. The Battle of Arsuf stands as a testament to Richard the Lionheart's tactical brilliance and his ability to turn the tide of the Third Crusade in favor of the Crusaders, showcasing both the complexities of medieval warfare and the fierce determination of both the Crusader and Muslim forces in their respective quests.